there was this pregnant lady. So I agreed to help the pregnant lady because she was really, really pregnant. She gets in the car. When I realized she's not pregnant, she had about, I don't even know how much money inside of this thing that makes her look pregnant.
You want me to believe you, but I feel like you're just telling me something to make me feel better about Gannon missing, okay? Kind of like the Quincy Brown thing. I mean, now it's a pregnant lady with cash in her belly. Okay, I believe you. What's next? What happened next?
Albert, to sum it up, it's just being caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time with people who are money laundering, wanting me to deliver paper to these Mexican restaurants, and I wouldn't do it.
Thanks so much for staying with us here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Welcome back. Now we're in week number 5 this week of the stepmother murder trial in Colorado. The state hasn't officially rested, but we are hearing with our team on the ground there that the defense team is getting ready. They're getting primed up and ready to go. We're getting word that the state may rest soon, and so the defense is going to be ready to present. They're presenting a not guilty by reason of insanity defense. Now, on Monday, the prosecution called what was said to be their final witness to the stand. Kevin Clark presented a series of web searches from the phone of Letecia Stauch, both at the time of little Gannon's death and the days after his death. Here's a little snippet of what Stauch was searching on January 25th, 2020. That was 2 days before Gannon was believed to have been murdered.
1:49 p.m. My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her lids.
Based on context, what do you think that the lids actually meant?
Should be kids.
Okay. Is it a typo basically on the searcher's part?
Yes.
The next search on January 25th, 2020, what time and what did it say?
1:51 p.m. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I, raised, her, kids.
What is the next search on January 25th of 2020 and what time?
1:54 p.m. One day, some people will, wish they treated you differently.
Now, Clark continued by revealing more surveillance and phone data from the defendant's phone. Everything from paying for a fake polygraph test to searching how long does a body start to decompose in a bag. Now, here's some more of those shocking results found in the internet search history of stepmother Letecia Stauch.
Tell me the first one on January 27, 2020.
12:09 a.m. My son, burned the carpet. How, do I fix it?
Is there a period between the fix and the it?
There is. I just couldn't see it from this angle. How do I fix, it?
And then the next search on January 27, 2020, what is it and what time?
1:03 a.m. Son sick. Can he stay, home?
And then the next search on January 27, 2020, what time?
2:42 a.m. Craigslist, Orlando, Florida, jobs, apartments, for sale, services, community, and events.
And for context purposes, is January 27th, later that day, the day that the defendant called 911 to report Gannon as a runaway?
Correct.
Then do we have a bunch of searches on February 21st, 2020 that are relevant for this investigation?
We do.
What is the first one on February 21st?
6:43 a.m. Children trafficking to, Mexico, from, and it's misspelled Colorado. It's spelled COLOROSDO.
And does this roughly coincide with references by the defendant in some of these recorded consensual phone calls that were recorded by the FBI, indicating that Gannon may have been trafficked to Mexico?
Yes.
What is the next search on February 21st, 2020?
6:54 a.m. I need a criminal polygraph.
And the next one on February 21st, 2020?
A few minutes later at 7:08 a.m. I need a fake criminal polygraph.
The next one on February 21st, 2020?
7:21 a.m. Fake polygraph test.
The next one on February 21st, 2020?
7:35 a.m. Can you get away with fake lie detector? And it's misspelled. DETEXTOR website.
These searches for needing a criminal polygraph, fake criminal polygraph, and can you get away with a fake lie detector test? Does this indicate, in your mind, that the defendant had some awareness of trying to evade the investigation in this case?
Yes.
What is the next search on February 21st, 2020?
9:52 a.m. Gannon Stauch, El Paso, period, searching in landfill.
Was there, in fact, searches of landfills trying to locate Gannon's remains?
There were.
Was that publicized?
Briefly, if I recall right.
And then do we have 4 searches on February 23rd, 2020?
We do.
What is the first one?
3:08 a.m. Gannon Stauch found.
Was he found on February 23rd?
No.
What's the next search on February 23rd, 2020?
8:24 a.m. replacement passport.
The next search on February 23rd, 2020?
3:15 p.m. shock from period watching someone get shot.
Is someone misspelled?
Yes, it's spelled Someoke.
Is this the first indication that we have? Well, let me back up a little bit. Gannon's body still had not been found by this time, right?
Not yet.
Is this the first indication that we have of consciousness by the defendant of Gannon being shot?
Yes.
I thought he was going to say consciousness of guilt there, but he said something similar, consciousness of little Gannon being shot. Just a reminder, that little child was shot 18 times. I'm sorry, stabbed 18 times, shot 3 times. I reversed it in my head. Stabbed 18, shot 3. Think about the brutal death that child endured, all the pain that he suffered. And the person who did it to him is saying that they didn't know right from wrong at the time that they stabbed him 18 times and shot him 3. What do those internet searches tell us, though? Do they tell us something different? Let me bring in my guest, retired police sergeant Melissa Pinkleton, who knows about polygraph testing and lying defendants. Sarge, great to have you on the program. Tell me, when you hear about this defense that we know is coming, I mean, could come real soon here, soon as the state rests, and knowing all this other evidence like what we just heard, what do you think, please?
Not a chance. There is not a chance the jury is going to fall for this. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was a resentful, bitter woman who was getting her ducks in a row. Those searches, you know, there's a show called How to Commit a Murder. She needs to host a class on how to not commit a murder 101, because she has done everything that murderers do. Her Google search history, and I don't care how many times she comes to court not washing her hair, the jury is not falling for this whole I'm crazy, didn't know what I was doing at the time, and I'm out of my mind. Because she has done everything to show actually she is competent, did know what she was doing, planning it, plotting it, preparing it. And even her daughter, again, I like to bring that up, and I know that's known, that has testified that she's never seen her mom mentally unstable. So this is not going to work for her.
Great point. The ex-husband said the same thing. You know, it's happening at trial. It's all coming up at trial. You know, and I really like the point you made too about the grooming, how she is choosing to come to court. You're absolutely right, Sergeant Pinkleton. That is purposeful. Let's look at some more things that were purposeful together, shall we? We have another clip from Kevin Clark. He's that intelligence analyst that the jury heard from, pulling her searches, all of the things she was looking at on the internet around the time of February 27th and 28th. So we're at about a month after Gannon is killed at this point in time. Let's listen.
The next search on February 27th, 2020?
8:05 a.m. How do, period, they identify whose, misspelled WHOS, blood is at the scene?
The next search on February 27th, 2020?
8:35 a.m. Find people who want to go to, period, jail.
The next search on February 27th, 2020?
8:58 a.m. Spanish girl names.
Is Maria Sanchez a Spanish girl name?
Very traditional, yes.
What is the first one on February 28th, 2020?
7:02 a.m. How long does a body start to decompose in a bag?
Does that indicate specific knowledge about the condition in which Gannon's body was packaged and discarded?
Yes.
In what way?
He was found in a suitcase.
Good night. I think my favorite part of that was when she is naming her alter ego. I mean, if that doesn't say that this was conjured up and created, the fact that she's Googling Spanish girl names and then she comes up with Maria and tells the psychiatrist that her defense team brought in that's who was responsible. It was Maria who did this. It is just so sinister. Sergeant Pinkleton, what do you think hearing all that? Lots there, huh?
I just think more and more, and it's just all the extra additional nails in the coffin for her. Because what possible defense could there be? And sitting, if I'm putting myself in the jury box right now, and if I'm sitting in the jury listening to this, I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, what possibly, how could she possibly claim that she did not know what she was doing at the time? I think that there is beyond a reasonable doubt. I think the prosecution is nailing it, has laid it out. And especially the Google searches are so damaging before and after. They are beyond damaging because it just goes to show she was not out of her mind. She knew what she was doing, pre-medication, consciousness of guilt, all of the above. I mean, I know trial's a slam dunk, as you say, and I understand that, but I feel like this is almost as close to a slam dunk as you might possibly get.
You're right, Sarge. I love it. You know, I've been saying, you might agree with this. I'm sure you've heard this term throughout your years of service. And for anybody who may be new to this program, you'll hear it from us again. Sometimes we call cases like this one a slow plea in the courthouse, when it's just the evidence is so bad, but somebody, you know, you have a right to a fair trial, you know, by a jury of your peers. And that is what she is doing. She's making the state prove the case against her, and we'll see if they get thrown any curveballs when it's time for the defense to present.